Hey everybody, this is Jim the Tabletop Engineer and welcome to a new video. This is not going to be a gameplay video, but it's something I just wanted to share with you. Sort of a show and tell kind of thing. Most of you who follow my channel know that I play a lot of different solo games. One in particular is called Arkham Horror the Card Game. It's absolutely one of my most favorite games. You can play it with a group, you can play it solo, you can play it with one investigator, you can play solo with multiple investigators, and it's been out for a number of years. I don't remember when it first came out, but it's been out for a while. It's going through a second release. It came out with a new edition. They don't call it second edition. They called it I forget what it was, but there's a new version of it out, and so it's a great time to get into the game if you've ever been interested in it, especially if you like the Lovecraft and Cthulhu mythos like I do. It is truly one of those games that's sort of historic. I mean, everybody who plays it, who is a fan, just they love it. They can't get enough of it. We anxiously await the next release of whatever. At this point in the game, there are a number of expansions and campaigns. Okay, so let me explain. You play an investigator, if you're playing solo or with a group. You play an investigator who is fighting the elder ones, the great gods, the evil that is infesting Arkham, Massachusetts. Now, some of the campaigns take place outside of Arkham, but most of them take place in the universe that H.P. Lovecraft created. So in the game, you are basically building a deck of about 30 cards. And the cards are sort of your abilities and your special skills and things like that. The decks are customizable, meaning that the more decks you buy and the more campaigns that are released, you start getting bonus cards that you can put aside for now, but should you choose to play, say, that investigator later, you'll have upgrade cards that you can sort of swap in and out. Now, most of the investigators come with like a recommended or starting deck, which is fine. You can play it that way. But those of us who've played for a long time, you start getting to where you like to tweak your deck. You like to play with certain cards, or you like to go with a theme. Like, for instance, if you're playing an investigator who is a professional thief, you load your deck up with cards like lockpick and deception and things like that are thematic to the investigator you're playing. I tend to like to play the seekers, which are like the knowledge, the librarians and the professors and stuff like that. And so a lot of their cards are ancient tomes that give you special abilities or actions in the game. And you have tools, things like that you can use that are thematic to that. Now, there are different classes in the game. There's Rogue, there's Seeker, which I mentioned. There's the, I'm going blank on all of them. The Rogue, the Seeker, I can't remember, the Mystic, which you can cast spells and collect spell books and things like that. Long story short, there are so many cards out now for the game. It's really just become this incredibly modifiable game, all right? The game comes with a 3-part campaign called Night of the Zealot. All right, so when you buy the box, and I don't have it with me here, but when you buy the beginner box or the starter box, it comes with, I think, 2 investigators with complete decks, so you can play them right out of the box. And then it comes with the Night of the Zealot campaign, which is 3 scenarios. After that, they have scenarios that you can buy that are 8-part campaigns, 8 scenarios per campaign. With each of the campaigns, they've released new investigators. Those new investigators come with new cards. And almost always, you can mix and match the decks and the cards. So, again, it comes down to the more campaigns you get and the more decks you buy and things like that, you start amassing a collection of cards that can get quite out of hand. I'm just going to tell you. For the longest time, I stored my card collection in an artist box. It's just a small wooden box, and I had an insert in it where I could just sort of separate the cards as I needed. It wasn't the greatest organizational tool, but it served its purpose. But recently, I just got really into Arkham Horror again, and I got into it after a campaign was released that I played it, and it just reignited my love of the game, my interest in the game, but it also required me to create some custom decks, and it got frustrating because I was having to go into the box, search for that one card, search for that one asset or that one ally card, and it took time, but it was fun, and it allowed me to see what all cards I have and remember that, oh wow, I totally forgot about that card. And while I was doing this, I'm thinking to myself, I really need a better way to organize my card collection, which at this point, I don't even know. I couldn't tell you how many cards it is, but it's a lot. You'll see in a moment. So I started thinking about how could I organize it. At about the same time, a fellow player who I don't know posted on a Facebook group dedicated to Arkham Horror. He posted something that he made. It looked like an old card catalog, with the pull, you pull it out, the drawer comes out, and he was organizing his cards in that manner. And it was very thematic because the game takes place like in the 1920s. So obviously, card catalogs or card files were sort of big back then, and I guess they were big for a long time. I don't know what you'd use today if the game took place in the 2000s or the 2020s, like what would be thematic. But anyway, I saw it and I thought, ooh, that's an idea. So I started looking at pictures on the internet and trying to figure out, what I could come up with. Now, those of you who followed me for a while, you know that I have a laser business. So, and I was trained as an industrial engineer, and I've got a lot of background and training in designing in CAD, computer-aided design. So taking something in my head or three-dimensionally that I see in a picture and taking it and translating it to software for the laser cutter to cut out. I'm not going to say it's easy for me. It's not. It does take time, but I was trained to do it. So it's not that big of a thing for me to prototype something quickly, make sure it works, and then I can do something, more substantial. So I started out, and I'll pull one of these out. Let me find an empty one. I don't have an empty one. I started out by designing just the basic pull, with the metal pull tab here. You can put a little tag of text in here. And what you can't see is I also designed a box to go around it so it inserts into the box and then it pulls out. And it took a couple iterations before I found the right design that allowed for sleeved cards and unsleeved, and also just the right depth. The first one I made, I really didn't feel it was deep enough. It was only about like that deep, like to here, maybe 6 inches. So I added a little bit more. And the tightness of the box, inserting it and pulling it out, it was a little tighter. So I played around with that until I found the right mix. Then what I did was I made 6 of them, and I glued them together to form a 3 wide by 2 deep set of drawers. Now, by itself, it looked fine. It was just sitting on the table. It was heavy enough that if you pulled the tab, it wouldn't pull the whole thing off the table. It would just open the tab. But the more I looked at it, the more I was like, it's nice and it's what I was going for, but I really want something thematic. Something Arkham, something 1920s. And so what I did was I went back to the drawing board and I designed a shell to hold the 6 drawers in. I went online and I found some hardware. I already had the pull tabs, but I wanted some like claw feet, like you would find on a tub or in some old furniture. You would see the animal claw feet. I found a set that was small enough and not super expensive. They were, I think, I don't know, $1 each or something like that. They weren't bad. I only needed 4. So I found them, I ordered them, and I got to work, and I put it together, and I put on the claw feet, and I put on the shell, and I ended up with something that I'm about to share with you that it's a labor of love because I enjoy and love this game so much. Now I have something to store my game and cards in properly, at least in my mind, properly. I'm now wanting to convert one of the drawers into a special drawer that will hold all the tokens and things like that, because I do have space. I actually allowed myself enough space. Now, I could imagine this game getting big enough and offering enough expansions down the road that I'm probably going to run out of space. If I do, I'll either make another one of what I'm going to show you, or I'll make a bigger one. I don't know. So let me show you now. I'm going to have to pause the camera real quick and reorient, and then I'm going to show you what I've got in front of me and how it works. Hang tight. All right, this is it. I will take some photos and append them to the end of this video so you can see more detail. But it's a box. It's got 6 drawers, 3 by 2, like this. You can see the claw feet right here that raises it up about a ½ an inch off the table or ground. I engraved a top piece of wood with the elder sign symbol from the game. The sides have the emblems of the 5 different classes. Let's see, Seeker, Rogue, which is, I think that one. No, that's Seeker. I can't remember. Seeker, Rogue, Mystic. I can't remember what these are. I'm just going blank right now. But anyway, this is on this side, and an identical one is on the other side here. The pull tabs allow you to open, and I haven't got all my cards transferred yet. So you can see in here I've got the tokens and things, but I want to do something different for that. I've got some duplicate cards and things like that. But what I'm using to organize my cards are these little they're little dividers that are labeled with the name of the campaign, and then in the campaign they also have a divider that tells you the scenario. And then some of them also have dividers that are for like the monsters in that particular campaign and things like that. It just allows you to organize it, and the game is organized by symbols. So when you get a campaign, it's going to have this master symbol. And then inside that game, it will have cards that are small groups, like maybe a group of monsters, and they'll have their own symbol. And the symbol is shown at the top here of the card. In this case, it looks like a what do you call it? A test tube, not a test tube, but Erlenmeyer flask. And this is for the extracurricular activity scenario in the Dunwich Legacy campaign. These I got for free. A fellow player recommended this guy. I don't know if his username or his website, it's called Arkham-esque. And I'll try to remember to put a link in the description below. He's put all of his dividers out there on Board Game Geek. You can download them, print them, and I laminated them just so they survive a little longer. And I'm using these to organize all my stuff. And as you can see, I've got some that I haven't even opened yet, but here's these are related to the Night of the Zealot back here. And let's see, this one I'm just using it to store some other cards and I'm using some little wooden toys to keep the cards from falling. But I've got plenty of room. These are the extra cards, that's what it was. I've got plenty of room for all of the existing campaigns I have, as well as all the bonus cards. I probably will have when I get everything moved in, I'll probably have about 1 drawer left, which will probably be good for about 2 or 3 more campaigns. Now, right now, I think there are 8 campaigns. Don't hold me to that. There's a lot of them. Some of them are redos. When the game was originally released back in like 2014 or 2017, they released them in these smaller boxes, and then they released the scenarios in packs. I don't have one with me, but packs of cards. So each scenario past the first 2 were bought in these packs. Well, they've since changed that, and they're releasing all of the investigators in a single box for a campaign, and all of the packs or the scenarios in another box. So you just buy 2 boxes for the total campaign, and that includes all the investigators and the stuff. And what they're doing is they're going back and they're re-releasing pre-existing campaigns in that 2-box format. So if you have the old format of a campaign, you don't have to go and buy the new one. You've got what's needed. But if you missed a campaign, they're re-releasing all of them, and they're just announced the latest one, which is the Circle Undone. I have that in the old format. I have all the investigators and all the scenarios for that one, so I don't need to buy that new 2-box set that's going to be released in just a little bit. Now, I could get it, and I'd have duplicates of many of the cards, but I don't need that. There's usually enough cards in there to, and this is usually a maximum of 4-player game, so usually there's no need to have like many duplicates of cards. There are some cards that it's good to have many of, but those cards you'll find frequently enough in pre-built decks that you can buy and things like that. So I don't know what you call this. It's a card cabinet, Arkham Horror Card Cabinet, and it was really fun to make. And let me tell you, it's not light, but it's not heavy either. I haven't weighed it because I don't have a way to measure it, but I'd say it's probably about 20 pounds. I know what a 25-pound weight feels like, and this is not quite that heavy. So got to figure about 20 pounds. It sits on a bookshelf over here, and when I need it, when I'm ready to play, the goal is I will pull out, I'll have a drawer just for the investigators, so I'll get my investigator. I'll have a drawer for all the different 5 classes and their specific cards, and then I'll have drawers for the scenarios and the campaigns. And it stays, like I said, on a bookshelf, out of the way, but it makes me happy. We gamers are a nerdy bunch. When we have a hobby or a game we love, we'll buy tokens for it, special tokens or special game mats and things like that. We all go a little crazy when it comes to our favorite games, and this is absolutely one of mine. So I just wanted to share it with you. I have been asked if I will be selling these. The answer is no. These would be custom. I mean, this would be a commission or a custom order. This is not something I would sell like on my laser business, my Etsy store. It's just it's a lot of wood. It's a lot of moving parts, or metal parts, the feet, the pulls, and it's some work with the construction to get it all together, and the engraving takes time and things like that. So no, this is not something I will be selling on my Etsy store. If you are really, really, really seriously interested, you can reach out to me and we can talk. I definitely enjoyed putting it together, but I wouldn't want to be putting more than one a week or one a month or even a couple a year. They're just kind of involved. So anyway, there you go. All right, that is all I had. I just wanted to share it with you, and I'll be back in the next video. Hopefully, will be a playthrough video. If it's not Arkham Horror, the card game, it'll be something else. But if you are interested, if this game sounds like something you'd be interested in, do check out my Arkham Horror Card Game playthroughs. I am going right now on the Dunwich Legacy. I'm working my way through those scenarios, and I've already done the Night of the Zealot. You can watch that on my channel. And if you have any questions, post them in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. And that's all I got. This is Jim, the Tabletop Engineer. Thanks for joining me as I show off my new Arkham Card Cabinet, Arkham Card Cabinet, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.